Radio.com.
The news at 6 comes to you with the compliments of Kentucky Fried Chicken KFC. With the news at this time, I'm Dennis Chabrol. Good evening. First, the highlights. The Civil Defense Commission says all pumps and cokers are functioning as residents in the city experience severe floods after intense rainfall. Republic Bank workers in Guyana are now being represented by a union. 2 Guyanese were rescued after the fuel tanker they were working on sank off the coast of the Bahamas. Regionally, a Haitian organization has taken the United States government to court for human rights violations. And internationally, we hear this hour that the Indian government has refused to grant approval for a charity started by Mother Teresa to receive funds. The details of these and other stories in a moment.
Hate to stand in lines? Don't worry. KFC has got you covered with their drive-thrus, which are open now from 9 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. at Movietown, Vlissingen Road, Mandela Avenue, Reading Hoop, Parika, and the Amazonia Mall. That's right, you can drive through at 6 of their 9 locations. Remember, their current opening hours are 9 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Go on down and let your taste buds savor the spices today. KFC.
It's finger-licking good.
And now the news in detail. As Georgetown residents and businesses grapple with severe floods due to hours of intense rainfall, the Civil Defense Commission says that all pumps in the city are fully functional. The commission also says that Coker's sluices were opened from 2 p.m. and will close at 6:30 this evening. The next high tide is at 11:07 tonight. The CDC says that it has received reports that several locations in and around Georgetown are flooded. The agency says that the National Flood Task Force, the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, the Hydrometeorological Office, relevant ministries, city engineers, and the mayor's office, all regional executive officers, and the CDC are on high alert and are closely monitoring the situation. The CDC says engineers are monitoring on a 24-hour basis. The Disaster Mitigation and Response Agency says that a National Flood Task Force will monitor countrywide reports and weather patterns and will be ready to deploy resources and aid if necessary. The CDC advises residents to remain vigilant and cautious and to report any further impacts to local authorities or the National Emergency Monitoring System on 600-7500 at any time. Non-management workers of Republic Bank Guyana Limited are now being represented by the Guyana Civil Servants and the General Workers Union GCSGW. Union President Gregory Gaspar says that the two sides are due to sign a collective labor agreement next year. He says the Trade Union Recognition and Certification Board earlier this month issued his workers' organization with a certificate after a poll was conducted. Mr. Gaspar says no other union competed to represent the workers at Republic Bank. Of the almost 600 workers, he says, about 300 Republic Bank's non-management workers voted for the GSCGW, marking the first time that banking workers have been unionized in Guyana. A number of the workers, according to the union president, approached his organization to represent them in September, and so a poll was taken. The union says it is in the process of framing a recognition agreement and an agreement for the avoidance and settlement of disputes, a precursor to the Memorandum of Agreement for Salaries and General Conditions of Employment, which it will be submitting to the management after consultation with its members. Mr. Gaspar says the GCSGW will eventually be reaching out to the union in Trinidad that represents Republic Bank workers in that headquarters country. A fireman who was based at the New Amsterdam fire station was Monday still in police custody as an investigation continued into his alleged rape of an 18-year-old woman. Police say that she has since recanted her story, saying that she gave permission for sexual intercourse. Region 6 East Berbice County Divisional Commander Jairam Ramlakan said investigators We're told that a woman and a fireman who was 24 years old visited the scene on Sunday, and the woman said the fireman did not rape her. The Guyana police force says the woman also denies that the fireman injured her with a screwdriver. Investigators were told that a fireman met the woman on Christmas Eve night. They drank several beers, and then he took her to the New Amsterdam fire station where they had sexual intercourse. Police say that when the woman returned to home Christmas Day and was questioned by her mother, she leveled the allegations against the fireman, and a report was made to police. The file will be sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions for advice. 2 Guyanese evacuated a now sunken fuel tanker off the Bahamas on Friday night after it was struck by a 207-foot-long super yacht. An official of Marine Tanker Services named the 2 Guyanese as Chief Engineer Colin Ward and Joshua Campbell. He said that the motor tanker Tropic Breeze was hit and sank, but fortunately all crew members executed evacuation drills within the prescribed limits and were rescued. Eyewitnesses say that the 160-foot-long fuel tanker sank 15 miles north-northwest of New Providence. Maritime Management LLC reported that a ship under its management, the MT Tropic Breeze, was struck at 10:03 p.m. by the super yacht MY Utopia 4. Eyewitness News says that the tanker was traveling in its proper watch en route to Great Stirrup Cay when the collision occurred, and the stern of the vessel was pierced, causing it to sink to the ocean floor at an estimated depth of 2,000 feet. The tanker cannot be safely salvaged, according to officials. The ship's cargo reportedly included liquid propane gas, marine gas, and automotive gas. The report states that Maritime Management advised that the relevant Bahamian authorities have been notified that they'll work with all stakeholders to ensure best outcomes with minimal environmental impact. The Ministry of Health says 2 males, one unvaccinated and the other unknown, are the latest persons to die from COVID-19. The death toll is now 1,050. The ministry's data shows 12 new cases of COVID were recorded in the last 24 hours. 6 seriously sick in the COVID ICU, while 34 others are being treated in hospitals. The ministry says there are 682 persons who have tested positive and are instructed to isolate themselves at home. As of Christmas Eve, the official records show that Guyana administered 410,076 first-dose COVID vaccines to adults, and 293,206 adults are fully vaccinated. In the Caribbean, the Haitian Bridge Alliance, HBA, has filed a class action lawsuit against the Biden administration alleging the abuse of asylum-seeking Haitians. The HBA says the rights of the Haitians had been violated when they were removed from a makeshift camp in Texas in October. The HBA is also claiming that the Department of Homeland Security violated the rights of thousands Haitian asylum seekers after they fled the French-speaking Caribbean country because of the danger and insecurity there. According to the HBA, the Haitians on arrival in the U.S. joined at least 15,000 Haitian asylum seekers in a makeshift U.S. Customs and Border Protection encampment in Del Rio, Texas, but that they suffered from hunger and dehydration due to encampment conditions. The asylum seekers say that they sweltered in triple-digit temperatures by day and slept on the ground at night. The complaint filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia included a statement from one of the plaintiffs, Murad Joseph, who said he was lashed at by a Border Patrol agent on horseback. In Trinidad, 2 men are dead and another is wounded after they were shot several times in a drive-by shooting on Christmas Day. The 2 deceased have been identified as 28-year-old Shaquem Francis and 27-year-old Shaka Gray. The third man, a 34-year-old, is still in a serious condition. Police say at about 4 p.m. on December 24, they were all in a black Nissan Almera on Independence Square when a silver car drove past them and several gunshots were fired. The driver of the car managed to drive to the Port of Spain General Hospital, where Francis and Guy were declared dead. The murder toll now stands at 442 for the year. The Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, has welcomed the World Health Organization WHO listing today of an AstraZeneca vaccine jointly produced by Argentina and Mexico. This is the first such decision for a COVID-19 vaccine manufactured in Latin America. The vaccine is jointly manufactured by Argentina's Embaxians, which reproduces its active pharmaceutical ingredient, and Mexico's laboratories Leomor, which mixes and finishes the product for distribution. The regionally produced AstraZeneca vaccine is already in use in some Latin American and Caribbean countries and inclusion in the WHO emergency use listing. It will facilitate its procurement and distribution through PAHO's revolving fund as well as COVAX, the international mechanism to increase global COVID-19 vaccine access. The WHO emergency use listing is a procedure for assessing and listing vaccines, therapeutics, and other medical tools to expedite their availability during a public health emergency. To date, 11 COVID-19 vaccines are listed under this mechanism. And now we go to the BBC World Service for the latest bulletin of international news.
BBC News, I'm John Shea. The Indian government has refused to renew permission that's vital for the Roman Catholic charity, founded by the late Nobel laureate Mother Teresa, to receive foreign funds. It said the decision was a response to what it called adverse inputs at the missionaries of charity. Anbarasan Ethirajan reports from Delhi.
One church leader described the freezing of accounts as a cruel Christmas gift to the poorest of the poor. Hindu right-wing groups in the past have accused the missionaries of charity of carrying out religious conversions by offering food, free education, and shelter to poor Hindus and people from indigenous communities. The organization has denied the allegations. The latest development came amid increasing attacks on religious minorities across India in recent months. Hindu vigilante groups also disrupted Christmas celebrations in parts of India, triggering outrage.
The Prime Minister of Somalia, Mohamed Hussein Roble, has told the security forces to take orders from him alone, rejecting an announcement by the country's president that he'd been suspended. Mr. Roble described President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo's decision as a coup attempt. The two leaders are in a power struggle after elections were delayed earlier this year. Dr. Afyare Elmi of the Heritage Institute for Policy Studies in Mogadishu told the BBC the increase of tension on both sides was dangerous.
That counter-escalation from the Prime Minister's side is also unwarranted, and I don't think that is an answer of the current crisis. This full force from our two extremes, pushing and pulling the country, can lead the whole process to collapse, or the whole political settlement to collapse.
France is the latest European country to tighten restrictions to curb the spread of the Omicron coronavirus variant. The Prime Minister, Jean Castex, described the pandemic as feeling like a film without an ending. But our Paris correspondent Hugh Schofield says the measures are less restrictive than anticipated.
People had been talking about curfews, maybe particularly on New Year's Eve. There's no New Year's Eve curfew. People have been talking about delaying the start of the school term next Monday. No, that's not going to happen. But there are these other measures. For example, new limits on the number of people at stadiums, 5,000 for football matches and so on. This new push on home working and the new rule about consuming drinks and food at bars and restaurants. You can only do that sitting down. So it's not a drastic change, but it is a change which will make people think twice about going out, think twice about their behaviour, covering up and so on, where we've seen people beginning to think that it was all over, but it obviously isn't.
President Biden has urged state governors to ask the US federal authorities for help in coping with a surge in coronavirus infections. He said some hospitals could be overrun, but he insisted the country was well prepared. World News from the BBC. A nighttime curfew has taken effect in the Indian capital Delhi, where the number of Omicron infections is relatively small but is thought to be increasing rapidly. Residents are being told to stay at home for 6 hours from 11 p.m. Several other Indian states have also imposed restrictions. The US envoy to Poland has thanked the country's president for vetoing a media bill that would have hit a US-owned television station, which is frequently critical of the government in Warsaw. The chargé d'affaires, Bix Aliu, said President Andrzej Duda had shown leadership and had protected the investment climate in Poland. The bill, which had also angered the European Commission, will now return to the Polish Parliament. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that Russia and NATO will meet early next month to discuss possible security guarantees. Mr. Lavrov said the talks would take place soon after Russia's New Year holidays, which end on the 9th of January. Russia's deployment of tens of thousands of troops on its border with Ukraine has prompted warnings from the United States and its allies. 2 football teams in France have been thrown out of a major competition because of fan violence. Lyon and Paris FC were punished after crowd trouble forced the abandonment of their French Cup match earlier this month. Rory Gallimore reports.
The 2 teams were drawing 1-1 when, at half-time, clashes broke out in the stands. Red smoke billowed as some supporters threw flares and fireworks. Others ran onto the pitch. Similar incidents have become a growing problem in France this year. The authorities want to stamp it out. As well as being ejected from the French Cup, both clubs have been fined. Lyon's fans have also been banned from travelling to away league matches for the rest of the season. Last month, another of their games was called off when a player was hit by a bottle hurled from the crowd.
And that's the latest BBC World News.
That's the end of the news.
KFC delivery is now available from the Amazonia location. For shore-based Little Diamond residents, call 6320533, 6320533, 6080-162, 6080-162, or 503-3591, 503-3591. That's KFC's delivery service from the Amazonia location. KFC.
It's finger-licking good.
Now to end the news, a recap of the highlights. The Civil Defense Commission says all pumps and cokers are functioning as residents in the city experience floods after intense rainfall. Republic Bank workers in Guyana are now being represented by a union. Police are seeking legal advice about a now recanted allegation that a fireman raped a woman on Christmas Eve. 2 Guyanese were rescued after the fuel tanker they were working on sank off the coast of the Bahamas. Regionally, a Haitian organization is taking the United States government to court for human rights violations. Internationally, the Indian government has refused to grant approval for a charity started by Mother Teresa to receive funds. The news came to you with the compliments of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
This has been the news, compiled in the News Talk Radio newsroom. For ongoing updates, visit demerarawaves.com, and you can check facebook.com/demwaves and twitter.com/demwaves.
The Board of Directors, Management and Staff of News Talk Radio Guyana 103.1 FM
would like to extend our gratitude to the following companies
for being a part of our 12 Days of Christmas promotion:
Giftland Mall,
Giftland Office Max,
Food Max Superstore,
Giftland Electronics Store,
Jade's Walk,
Pinnacle Business Service,
Exclusive Dress to Impress,
Polo Tropical,
Church's Chicken,
Dairy Queen,
and Scene.
Thank you for putting smiles on the faces of all our winners.
And we look forward to working with you in the new year.
A very Merry Guyanese Christmas to you, your wonderful staff, and their families.
And may the new year bring you blessings beyond your expectations. On December 24 to January 1, you can get your greetings 6 times each day, streaming with your image on Christmas Day. 5-minute live broadcast. All this for $20,000. Here's another fabulous update for all our listeners and new clients. Instead of ending your Christmas greetings with us on January 1, you can do so on January 3. That is right, for no cost attached, no strings attached on this one. So you can end your greetings with us on January 3rd. Or 4 times each day for $15,000. Right here on NTRG. Call us on on 614-8205 or 692-9400 for details. Merry Christmas from News Talk Radio Guyana, 103.1 FM.
Coming up, it's 18 hours 30. That's in about 8 minutes from now. You can listen to the Hans Sing Along, Hans Christmas Sing Along. Stay tuned. Just a reminder, coming up at 18 hours 30 or 6:30 p.m., you can listen to the Hans Christmas Sing-Along. Production, an annual production by the Hunt family based in the United States. They, their friends, their colleagues, their associates all come together every year. And they sing Christmas carols and author, material. They also present all the material all as part of their Christmas sing-along every year for the last few decades. So we'll be bringing you excerpts of the Hans annual Christmas sing-along at 6:30 or 18 hours 30. 18 hours 25 now.